Triaco? Here. Bessler? Here. Collins? Here. Coyle? Here. Lee?
Here.
Owen? Here. Yusuf Abramson?
Here. And before we go into our 207 Fest, I just want to welcome Sheila Yusuf Abramson, our new board member. Okay, so we're going to go into District 207 Fest for extracurricular activities. This, as my predecessor, Ms. Owen always said, this is my favorite part of the meetings too, because we get to see all the great work of the students and all the efforts that they do in various arenas. So we'll take it away. Do you want to start with Maine West or the student you were saying?
No, our person's not here
Okay.
yet, so.
I know there's a little time constraint, so just let me know. Okay. So Ben, do you want to start with Maine South?
Sure.
Okay.
This month's recipient for 207's Best is Kaylee Pistorius. So Kaylee is, beyond reasonable doubt and beyond any doubt, probably one of the most decorated athletes we've ever had in the history of the high school. When she was only a few days old, she was brought into the gymnastics gym with her mother and father. Her mother is also a gymnastics coach at Shaker High School, so I'm sure, needless to say, probably house divided at times. But as she, continued her athletic prowess in the gymnastics gym and learned more and more and more, she had very supportive parents. And when we were speaking about this in my office, one of the things that she mentioned, which I wanted to make sure she mentioned tonight, was just how much she appreciates both of you being at pretty much everything she's ever done. Both from, I think, your mother's standpoint of really being so technical and understanding exactly what's going on, and your father's standpoint from understanding less of what's going on, but also being super excited, because he's also a coach. And so he understands the mental toughness that it takes to perform at the level that you really have. What's interesting about Kaylee is that her freshman year, she was out a majority of the season, but she still qualified for state, finishing 12th overall. And then pretty much the entire rest of her high school career, she either qualified for or finished extremely high or won either individual or different awards at the IHSA State Gymnastics meet. So what's also, I think, really important too, and your coach has mentioned this repeatedly throughout this letter, is that the last 2 years has seen the highest finish in our school's history at the state meet for gymnastics. So in particular, this last year finishing third, which is the highest we've ever had as a finish as a school. So that was really great. And on Friday, all the girls were at the assembly and were awarded this in front of the entire building. She's also a dedicated student in the classroom, recently returning from Washington, D.C. as a member of our state champion and nationally recognized C-Team Unit 6, that's right. And she's also, in her freshman year, she was in DECA. She was a member and has been a member of the Italian Club, NHS. And she also volunteers for our differently able student population at MWSRA in their athletic program, where she actually coaches gymnastics on Saturday mornings. She is in a hybrid of AP classes, AP Psych, AP Push, AP Calculus, AB, and AP Italian. As I kind of move through this, one of the things that has become evident and throughout my time as principal at the school has just been how mature Kaylee is. And she was actually a student who helped us select some of our new administrators coming into the building this last school year, this last winter, which she was great. So moving into some comments, Mr. David and Sarah, her junior leaders teacher, says Kaylee's work ethic, mental toughness, and tenacity have gotten her to the top of her sport. Her dedication to Maine South Gymnastics has had a ripple effect in our entire gymnastics program and, in a way, our entire sports program. Kaylee is a role model for others. Her competitive spirit has raised the bar for all that follow. Kaylee's crime science teacher and gymnastics coach, Mrs. Heidi Bobin, says, I can honestly say that Kaylee is by far the most talented and motivated gymnast I have ever coached at Maine South High School. Her work ethic is remarkable and her ability to deliver under pressure is like no other. She was chosen as team captain by her teammates both her junior and senior year because she is a true leader in every sense of the word. She truly encapsulates what it means to be a successful student, athlete, and person. In the challenging setting of balance and balancing both academics and athletics, Kaylee distinguishes herself as one of the most dedicated student athletes I have ever encountered during my career. The evidence of her hard work can be seen in her high grades in the courses she has taken and her distinction as one of the top female all-around gymnasts in the state of Illinois. Kaylee's advanced composition teacher, Mr. Scott, says, I first taught Kaylee as a freshman English student at Maine South. I can't say that she has grown and matured into a great student because Kaylee was above and beyond all of her classmates' intellect, maturity, wit, and confidence as a 15-year-old. Her lively curiosity makes her very dissatisfied with superficial explanations. That curiosity frequently led our seminars down avenues and into areas that otherwise would have remained unexplored. Kaylee participates daily in discussions with insight and comments on evidence, thesis, rhetorical analysis, and style. When I see her hand raised, I look forward to hearing from her because I know she will add an educational complexity to the class discussion. Her writing demonstrates her maturity, reflects her strong intellect, and exhibits a stylistic technique not often found in a high school senior or college student for that matter. Her attitude toward her fellow students also reflects her heartfelt compassion for others. This openness to all people was also evident in our class workshops on one another's writing and opinion analysis. In addition to her compassion, her sense of humor makes her an asset to any group. Added to this is their top student athlete, a family woman, and an asset to our community. Finally, Kaylee's American Government, We the People, and Constitution team coach, Mr. Andy Frankel, says, Kaylee is exactly what every teacher and coach hopes for in their program. She is genuine, enthusiastic, and always goes all in. Specifically on the Constitution team, you can always count on her to ask just the right questions, challenge conventional wisdom, and embrace beauty. The team would not be the same without her. Kaylee, in the time that I've gotten to know you, it really has been a privilege. You are so nice, you are so humble, and you are so fierce whenever you take on something. I think gymnastics is probably one of the most nerve-wracking psychological sports because you're literally all by yourself in front of all these people. So congratulations on this amazing accomplishment, and thank you for everything that you've done for our program and our community. So if you will tell us who's here with you tonight.
This is my boyfriend, Sean Kavanaugh, and that's my mom, Jennifer, and my dad, Bill. And next year I'll be going to the University of Dayton, majoring in criminal justice and minoring in Italian.
Congratulations.
Will you be continuing with your gymnastics?
No,
No.
I'm retired.
Congratulations on your retirement. Any last thing?
So this is, we're pleased to recognize Sarah Magnoni as one of 207's best in America extracurricular achievement. And soccer game, senior night, here for a little bit with us and then back to the game. She, as part of being on the basketball team, she was quoted in the Daily Herald in December, and part of what she said was, my role as part of this team is to come off the bench, give a little fire, try to add a little spark. And so I said, give a little fire, try to add a little spark is what Sarah Magnoni does in curricular and extracurricular involvement. It's that spark and all the things that I'll share with you here that made Sarah a unanimous choice and Wayne West recipient for this recognition. As a leader in numerous extracurricular areas, Sarah is a subtle leader as characterized by Mr. Allwood, assistant principal for student activities. He states, while she may not be the most vocal leader, she is one who leads exceptionally well by example. And you'll hear this theme throughout. Her work with SALT, Student Activities Leadership Team, helped create a new orientation day for freshmen that introduced them to the students and culture at West. And her involvement stretches across all areas of West. She participates in numerous volunteer organizations, which include the aforementioned SALT, as well as National Honor Society, Pi Sigma Pi. She's also active on student council and class council. And when I met to talk with her about this recognition, she shared with me also that she volunteers for saying Emily Basketball with Kids, Feed My Starving Children, and Feed My Sheep Soup Kitchen. And all that she does, she tries to lead by example. Always dressing up for spirit days and leading the charge for everyone else to get involved and show their spirit at Maine West. Mr. Allwood points out she does all this while competing at an incredibly high level during all 3 athletic seasons, too. So in the fall, she, and each season, she really focuses on what she brings to that team that season. So in the fall, she competes on a cross-country team. And Coach Regalado had this to say about her. Sarah is a remarkable young lady. The most impressive quality that I admire about her is the sense of pride that she has not only in herself, but in school. She puts her heart and soul in all the activities she participates in. She leads by example and is a true warrior. In the winter, she's on the girls' basketball team. And she was a contributor, certainly, to the team winning its first state championship in 31 years. And I understand you had the whole team here a couple of months ago, right, to recognize them. Her coach, Ms. DeMarty, states Sarah's a wonderful young lady and a fierce competitor. She was a very important part of this year's state championship girls basketball team, oftentimes playing through injuries and fatigue to contribute to the amazing success the team enjoyed this season. It's in the area of soccer, however, that Sarah excelled at the highest level, earning her an athletic scholarship to play soccer at Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville. Her coach, Coach Bishop, says Sarah's a coach's dream of an athlete. Her leadership is the best that I've ever seen since I took over the program. She makes our team better by leading by example, there we hear it again, and challenging her teammates to raise their game to match hers. She understands the game and has a high soccer IQ. She is always positive and is the first one to pick up her teammates when they're wrong. He says, I'm sure coaches say this often, but in this case, it couldn't be more accurate. There is no replacing Sarah, both on and off the field. Her leadership and all-in attitude are reserved not only for her extracurricular involvement, but for her, you'll see it in her curricular involvement too. So she takes a full course load to maximize her learning every year. Her teachers too can add to the accolades shared by her coaches and sponsors. This Wisdom, her senior composition teacher and NHS sponsor, says, I love Sarah. She is warm, collaborative, and always dedicated to growing as a person and student. She follows her passions, dives into every new learning opportunity with enthusiasm and focus. When Sarah is present, the whole room gets better. Mr. Machon, her Spanish teacher, says in Spanish she has a passion of not only learning the language, but using it as much as possible. She's a humble person who cares for others. Ms. Parsiak, civics and government teacher, says Sarah's a stellar athlete and person as well. She's inclusive, polite, and friendly. Sarah is a classmate that everyone wants to work with and be around. Ms. Gerritz, her counselor, shared that Sarah's grade point average is 3.9 and states her excellence in balancing both academics and extracurriculars is evident, and that she already had offers from colleges in the beginning of the school year and scholarships lined up. When I asked Sarah what she planned to pursue upon graduating, she thought likely business or accounting. And indeed, her accounting teacher, Ms. Kazinowski, echoes others when talking about Sarah. Sarah has a positive attitude, always. She actively participated, and her effort and engagement served as an exemplar for her classmates. She's very deserving of this award. And finally, Mr. Kirshner, as athletic director, sums up what sets Sarah apart for this recognition. She's a team player, a great person, and a solid role model for teammates. He adds, I have a daughter. I would be blessed if my daughter grows to demonstrate some of the incredible character, discipline, and work ethic that Sarah exemplifies. So I ask, can there be any stronger testimony of Sarah than the decided Hamlin's child emulate her strengths? Certainly in the short time that Dr. Scott and I got to know Sarah, we have appreciated and witnessed and learned about her talents in athletics and her volunteer work in the classroom arena. She is indeed a humble, caring, and selfless leader. We agree with the teachers and coaches that there's nothing Sarah cannot accomplish. So we're very proud to recognize Sarah for this award.
So I brought both my parents and my brother Ryan, and I just want to say thank you to both the interim principals and Sarah for being able to work with me, and also my family who has helped me through this journey and supported me and grown to be a person.
Okay, ladies, congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am pleased to introduce Marcin Mierlatko. So when I think of Marcin, if I were just going to give you the very shortest nub of it, scholar athlete is the individual that I'm going to describe to you in the next few moments. If we took a look at what he's done in the 4 years that he's been at Maine East, he's taken accelerated and AP just about everything, in addition to being involved in the Wind Ensemble Band Program, which, being a former band director, I can tell you is sort of a weird combination of curricular, co-curricular, and extracurricular stuff, and a pretty major commitment. And in addition to that, he has been, at least every year, a 2-season athlete and has done extraordinarily well. Go into a little more detail, he's probably one of the finest math minds, if not the strongest we've got in the building, and over the last decade or so. He's one of the students that came in as a sophomore, took AP Calc BC, which typically is a capstone class for seniors, and took differential thank you. Multivariable calculus with differentiated equations. Clearly, I did not ever take but again, he's taken a really, really strong series of course offerings and done extremely well all the way through. I want to read just a little excerpt. Mark Dobner is one of our math teachers who has had Marchin as a student for 2 years. The thing that I noticed in a lot of the teachers that I went to, everybody has had at least a 2, if not 3 or 4 year relationship in working with Marchin and has that firsthand sort of experience in seeing him grow. Mark said, Marchin was in my AP Calc BC class 2 years ago, was enrolled in my Div 2 class this last year. Throughout the time I've known him, Marchin has proven himself to be a phenomenal student and a wonderful, interesting person. For the past 2 years, I've witnessed Marchin's commitment and dedication to his studies. He's a serious student who consistently puts great work and effort into all assignments, showcasing an eye for detail and an impressive acuity for problem solving. Dr. Dave Schultz, who is one of our science teachers, commented, said, last year I was Marchin's teacher in AP Physics 1 and I'm currently his teacher in AP Physics C. He's distinguished himself as one of the most capable analytic thinkers I've taught in the last 10 years. At the same time, he's a true leader in my classroom and in our school, and I've witnessed how he has elevated the learning experiences of those around him. Marchin's analytical and quantitative reasoning skills are top-notch. He consistently demonstrates superior capabilities in problem-solving, applications of calculus, and general reasoning. His lab work is methodical and clearly organized, and he routinely shows great attention to detail in the lab activities and investigations. Not only is he an enthusiastic learner, he's also a student who works hard to achieve this level of mastery. More generally, Marchin's an extremely positive role model to his peers. He asks great questions regularly in class, he's a great collaborator and leader in group work, and generally seems to be someone all of my other students hold in high regard. So we understand why he has also been so effective in his leadership roles, so I'll explain in a moment, in band, in the Gifted Lyceum program, and also as an athlete. Judy Tyler, who is here tonight, sort of commented when I was talking a little bit and saying, oh yeah, we selected Marchin. She said, I am so impressed with him because he, of all the students in the Lyceum program, has probably has shown the greatest growth and is probably the most reflective student that I have in the program right now. In the last 2 years, Marchin's group was, I think, one of the winning proposals as a junior. And he has really invested significant time in terms of organizing, rallying people, bringing them together. So again, we see his sort of a quiet, charismatic ability to rally others and bring them together. And then you kind of see all of the analytical, quantitative things where he is very organized, methodical about laying out a plan, being able to stick to it, and then being able to inspire others who maybe are not so linear to stick to that plan as well. So that was a great thing. The other piece that I mentioned before, he's been a member of the top wind ensemble all 4 years, a section leader for the marching band these past 2 years, member all 4 years, and he's performed with jazz band Visho Pitt, member of the Triumph Music Honor Society. Our band director, Pam Holt, commented the following. Said, Marchin is talented and intelligent in many areas, music being one of many, and nearly everything comes easily to him, or at least it seems like it. From crazy advanced math and AP classes to water polo and diving, he does often seem superhuman. She goes on then to relay an experience where he decided to audition for the Illinois Music Educators District Band Festival. So clearly, he has chops. He's come in, he's got great technique, fingers where he would have been in the wind ensemble for years, but you have to really then go in as a soloist. So Pam kind of coached him, and she said, interestingly, over that period of time, when she was sort of coaxing him to work around the notes, to think about the story behind the music, the things that make something transcends from notes to music to something more expressive. So it felt like she kind of pushed him out of the comfort zone a little bit. Remembers there were some pretty interesting facial expressions as she was trying to kind of get him to think about some things. But she said she felt like since he put himself out there to audition for that group and worked up that music both on his own and with me, he's found more musicality and the life in the music, she says. That was really just all fast fingers and skill before. So it's been a pleasure to teach and work with him the past 4 years. And just offers congratulations on everything that you've accomplished in these. Moving on to truly extracurricular achievements, water polo and swimming and diving coaches, Pete Jacoda and Natalia Bieleka, both are here tonight, sort of collaborated on the following statement. He said, as a captain of both the water polo and swimming and diving teams at Maine East, Marcin is a great example of hard work and commitment. Juggling morning and afternoon practices with an intense AP course load, Marcin proved to all of his peers that one can be successful in both the classroom and athletics if they value and manage their time appropriately. Marcin never made excuses, he just always looked for ways to be better. He's extremely reflective in his practice, and this shows up when he's competing. He's able to put to use all of the skills he has mastered in practice. He carries himself with the utmost class at all times. He reacts to a win the same way he reacts to a loss, by asking the simple question, how can we get better? As a junior, he was named a CSL North All-Conference Water Polo player. He's on pace to be recognized again for this honor again this year. As a diver, he medaled in multiple invites, finished 8th at conference, 7th at sectionals, finishing the year with a personal record. Marcin truly appreciates how athletics have impacted his life and wants to share that joy with all his teammates. But not only was Marcin a part of athletics at Maine East, he's part of the Fine Arts program. As a member of the band, as I mentioned, performed in a variety of shows, and marching has done it all. And I think equally as important, not only does he do when he's not doing, he is in the audience, he is a spectator, and he's cheering others on. So I mean, truly, you may not be an athlete the rest of your life, and you may not play the rest of your life, but you for sure are going to be a part of the crowd, part of the audience. And without the audience, it's just a practice, it's not a performance. So he really gets it. He's the total deal here. I think on a personal note, I've always kind of seen him around. We got to share an armrest at Hamilton last year when we went to the show. And again, he's just a solid guy. I have no doubt you're going to do really well. You've certainly done proud by Maine East. And on behalf of faculty and staff, we wish you all the very best. Congratulations. Who's here tonight?
So I have one of my best friends, Matt Wilk, who was over there in the back. We have my swimming and diving coach, Coach Natalia, my water polo coach, Coach Dakota, Miss Tyler is my license sponsor, and then last but not least, my mom, who drives me to all the morning practices and afternoon practices. So thank you.
What are your plans next year?
Next year I plan to attend the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign to major in civil engineering.
We're going to move on to the superintendent's awards.
So we've got a few awards that I'll try to get in very, very quickly. I'm going to start with some special teachers that are here tonight. And we tried to do more to recognize our teachers over the last few years, and we're so blessed in this district to have tremendous teachers. The board has heard me talk about the movements that we've made in the district, and it really is due to just the tremendous quality of teaching that we have in this district. So I'm going to start first and foremost with someone that's gotten a little bit of attention recently. And this person, I think the board knows this, and some people in the audience might know this, We are likely the only district in America in which every teacher every year has instructional coaching plan. We literally don't know of another district in America that does that. We're 5 years into it. How we started on that road has a lot to say about Judy Tyler. Judy was actually one of our original instructional coaches. She and Tim Papa-George helped develop the first instructional coaching instruments that literally have become the plans that we use today. Recently, the Golden Apple Awards were open, and Judy was nominated on behalf of District 207, and many people in this room and at Maine East High School talked about all of the things that Judy has done, not only for her students, and they have been many, very few students from Maine East that come through here haven't in some way been impacted by Judy. But Judy represents even much more than that. She is the epitome of a teacher leader. Judy is one of our original instructional coaches at Maine East, continues to be an instructional coach today, and we believe in the power of coaching because the number one variable that matters in any school, anywhere, always will, is the quality of teaching in the classroom. And if you can impact that variable, you can increase the power of your entire school. Judy has done that. She has done it in a really professional way. She, like every one of our coaches, will tell you that the coaching itself helped her become a better teacher. And that's really what it's all about, the learning cycle and the learning journey. And our adults really model that. And I think it's reflective of the things that happen for our students. So my first Superintendent's Award is to our Golden Award winner this year, Miss Judy Tyler from Maine East High School. Judy's actually really, she's very vivacious, but she's a little humble.
I'm get scared talking.
Well,
I'm honored to be recognized, and Mike knows that he's really supported me and found some things inside of me that I didn't know was there either. I think this district has always done that for me, and very good.
okay, well, thank you so much. And you And then secondly, we're staying at Maine East High School tonight for the teacher portion of this. What's really cool is in this environment where you're coaching teachers and having teacher leadership, virtually all of our staff development is actually led by our teachers, and that's by design. There's someone once said, and this was a neuroscientist actually, you remember 10% of what you hear, 25% of what you see and hear, but 95% of what you teach. So there's neuroscience behind having teachers actually lead their learning and sharing and leading that learning with others. So a few years ago, Scott Schultes approached me and he had an idea for a new class. We've been teaching a class at Maine East and now at Maine West for several years called Geometry Construction. The students are building actually their 9th Habitat for Humanity home. They take geometry and construction at the same time. They're getting skills for which they can actually go out and go to work in. And here's the cool thing about that geometry and construction class is the students in that class typically outperform their geometry-only peers on the same geometry assessments. It's a very applied way to learn mathematics. It's probably the best way to learn anything. Well, Scott, who has a background in machining through his family, imagined a class with his partner Tom Kaiser called Algebra 2 and Manufacturing. And he dreamed it, and these guys created it, and a couple of weeks ago we had someone from the State Board of Education come to see it. The first in America, Algebra 2 and Manufacturing class. It's also a dual credit course. The students can earn college credit. They can earn NIM certification, which is the National Institute of Metalworking Skills. So those are work certification skills in the classroom that our students are getting. And these guys are the first in America to develop and teach that course. Now, Scott and Tom, had this never happened, they're as good at teachers as you're going to find anywhere in America. They're just that good. But the fact that they had this idea and got the space to do it, and they're doing it, I'm just so proud of them. And we've got districts all around Illinois that are looking at that class and want to emulate it. It helps a whole lot when you've got two powerhouse teachers like Scott Schultes and Tom Kaiser. So guys, Superintendent.
daughter's here, and my father-in-law. It's been a lot of many long weekends putting in the hours to try to make this course come to life with this curriculum that exists. And I do want to thank you for the courage to allow Tom and I to do this and come up with this idea, because I'm sure it's, you're kind of going on a limb to give us the reins to try new ideas and things. And I want to thank you, Tom, for going along for the ride. I know I've pushed you a little bit beyond boundaries you've done in the past, but I'm learning a lot from you, and I love working with you.
I agree. It's been a great trip, and looking forward to round 2 next year.
Yeah, they're just getting started. But like everything else, we'll be better even next year. So thank you both so much. But this night would not be complete without one more session. When the year began for us, and it just seems like a minute ago, we needed to find some leadership on short notice at Maine West High School. And we needed not just anybody, we needed leaders for whom we could continue the journey that we've been on. District 207 is a true learning community, and what goes with that is you've got to continue to add capacity each day, each week, each month, and each year. This is not a district that sits in neutral. We are moving forward, we continue to learn, and that means that you grow. And we needed 2 people of the highest caliber that could come in and not just coast for a year, but could take a really good high school and find gears that it didn't know it had, and hit those gears and really continue to elevate the work of the building, not just for this year, but for the future. And Dr. Marina Scott, Miss Maria Ward have come in, and I can honestly say as a superintendent, we have just really gotten better this year at Maine West High School in tangible ways. We have, I think, a really good transition in place to Dr. McMahon next year, both because of the stability of leadership this year and the mentoring and the coaching that has gone on from Dr. Scott and Ms. Ward. I can't state it enough on behalf of the district and the teachers and the board, just how proud we are of the work you 2 have done. You have just been remarkable. I couldn't be more just humbled by how well you've done this year. Every single day, in the chances I've had to interact with you and hear feedback from staff, and hear feedback from students, hear feedback from the community members, it's really been a good year. It's a testament to the work you 2 have done. So thank you both very much. Oh, wrong one. You figured that out later. Thank you so much. All right, well, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say we both had connections to the district in different ways, and it's been really cool to strengthen those. We came into an environment that was so welcoming, staff, students, everyone. I think, you're saying we helped you, we helped us. I learned a lot this year. I made a great friend. We didn't know each other before starting this. So thank you for the wonderful experience. And you do have a great staff at Maine West, Dr. McMahon and others who are going to take it to the new heights.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
I'll just echo everything that Marina said. It was, we knew a little bit of each other, but we didn't actually know each other. But it's just been a great partnership. I've enjoyed working with everyone in the district and at the building. People have been fabulous. We've had so much fun getting to know the kids and the staff at West and the people on board. We appreciate it too. It was a great experience, and it went like this. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but it went fast, and it was terrific. So,
Although it is a job you step out of, and the minute you step in, you're like, oh, this is what it was.
Right. Oh yeah.
So stepping out again is not
What are your plans for next year?
Loose Ken's number probably is on the top.
Thank you both. You've been very fortunate.
Thank you.
Chance for all the students who watch it, and if you have any friends, you can go outside and get your pictures taken. And then you can leave if you want, or you can come back and get the step of the full meeting if you want.
We do want to get pictures of all the awards winners, including the teachers.
So you can step out now.